I'm back for Dusty's ongoing coverage of Fragadelphia 19. I'm with Jeorge of NRG following their 2-0 win over Marsborne in the Lockett playoffs. So to start, great win over Marsborne. How are you feeling coming out of that series?
Not feeling completely like 100%. Obviously, we had a couple pretty bad T sides in that series. I think it was just a lot of like rookie mistakes and maybe a little bit of nerves. But going forward, I think after reviewing that stuff and hopefully fixing the mistakes, we should be a pretty good time in playoffs.
And with this win, it seems like things are clicking relatively well early days for this new iteration of NRG with XotiC and Carson. You came to this event with relatively little practice. How were early days with those new guys? Of course, not new teammates to you, but new teammates to NRG.
The practice started off a little slow, but after we got marched around here and got more comfortable, it's been going pretty well the last few days.
And with these additions, we talked to Daps about where the idea to bring XotiC and Carson into the team, and he pointed to you as being a pretty big influence. Obviously, you were a former teammate of Carson's and briefly a former teammate of XotiC on various iterations of Nouns and Gladiators. What made you sort of bring up this idea of bringing your former teammates?
Well, first of all, for XotiC, I just think he's insane at the game. Like I think he has the best mechanics, like any NA player at his peak. So bring him in. Right now he's overthinking a lot, but if he can get comfortable and start flowing like he does, when he plays pugs or when you're playing on chocolate check or we did practice, if he gets comfortable, I think he's going to be an insane player. And Carson was just because we kind of needed someone who was able to like fill in gaps more and be more like intuitive and just be easier to play around. So that's what we do for Carson.
A lot of people were looking towards XotiC in his first LAN to see if he'd be able to replicate what he was able to do online and bring it to the LAN environment. It seems like, at least based off this Marsborne game, that things are going pretty well for him. How were you expecting him to shine as much as he did in a LAN environment today as he does online?
Yeah, obviously we couldn't be 100% sure, but I expected for Fragadelphia he would keep relatively the same performance. We'll have to see at Pro League and the last Bounty Online how he plays against Tier 1 teams, but I think we're hopeful for the future.
And now with the squad locking in playoffs, you're in a pretty good position to make your way to the finals. Of course, I'm sure you're looking to avenge your loss to NIP when you're previously at Frag Vegas. Do you think this team's better equipped to avoid a collapse like we saw for the old NRG in Vegas?
Honestly, we still make a lot of newbie mistakes because we just make roster changes. I think overall we might have a slightly better adaptation style where we'll be able to adapt more mid game, which is more experience for me and Bro. So I think we won't collapse like last time we did versus NAP, but can't be sure.
All right, that's Jeorge from NRG making playoffs over Marsborne. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.